The British weather this week is extremely unusual. And if you are in the southwest of England or Scotland, what I'm about to say could directly affect your weekend plans. Right now, there are two low-pressure systems moving about. One is battering the southwest, one is besieging northeast Scotland, and between them, a peculiar gap that not everyone has noticed. But before I reveal which cities will have unexpectedly fine weather today, let me give you this figure. Wind speeds on Scotland's east coast are currently reaching 45 miles per hour, and that S not even the highest. This is why you need to watch this entire video. At the 3-minute mark, I'll reveal exactly which city will bear the brunt of the heaviest rainfall on Sunday. At the 5-minute mark, you all learn why next week could be the most treacherous week of January. And if you stay until the end of the video, I've got an important warning about Wednesday that nobody is talking about. But first, let us talk about today. Saturday, the 24th of January. Cornwall is taking a beating. Plymouth is taking a beating. The entire southwest from Exeter to Bristol is facing persistent, heavy rain. Not drizzle, not showers, but heavy, relentless downpours driven by a low-pressure system pushing in from the Atlantic. Wind speeds here, 35 to 40 miles per hour, enough to make opening your car door a struggle, enough to set trees swaying. And the rainfall accumulation over the past 24 hours, over 35 millimetres in some areas, South Wales as well, Cardiff, Swansea, Newport. All are under yellow warnings for heavy rain. If you are driving on the M4 motorway today, do be careful. Poor visibility, standing water on the roads, and crosswinds that could push your car into another lane. But here's the odd thing. Right in the middle of the country, there's a completely different weather pattern. Manchester, dry and bright. Birmingham, sunny spells. Leicester, clear skies. Even London and the southeast are seeing sunshine emerging after days of gloom. This isn't tea by chance. This is the result of two low-pressure systems creating a gap in between, a corridor of fine weather. And if you live in Nottingham, Derby, or Cambridge, today is your lucky day. Temperatures here, 8 to 9 degrees Celsius, above the January average. Warm enough to go for a walk without needing a heavy coat. But let me tell you what is happening up north, because this is where the story becomes genuinely concerning. Aberdeen is under siege. Dundee is under siege. The entire northeast of Scotland, from Inverness down to East Edinburgh, is facing what I call a weather wall. Strong southeasterly winds. Not 30 miles per hour, not 40, but 50 to 60 miles per hour on the coast. In higher elevations, possibly up to 70 miles per hour. These are gale force winds. And the rain, continuous, persistent, unrelenting from early morning to late evening. Rainfall accumulation over the past 2 days in some areas has exceeded 50 millimetres. Some spots in the Grampians, over 80 millimetres. But here's the most frightening part. Above 400 metres elevation, the rain turns to snow, heavy snow. Thick snow, snow blown by winds into blinding blizzards. The Grampians are currently at risk of blizzard conditions. That is when you cannot see 10 metres ahead. That is when snow doesn't fall straight down but flies horizontally due to the wind. That is when the wind chill drops to -5 degrees Celsius or lower. And black ice. Ice coating the roads, ice hidden beneath fresh snow. If you need to drive through this area today, Don T. I am quite serious. Don T, do it unless absolutely necessary. There have been reports of vehicles stuck on the A9 north of Perth. There have been warnings about the risk of isolation in mountain villages, and rescue services are working at full capacity. Now, let me give you another figure. This one will change how you perceive this week's weather. The temperature difference between South London and the Scottish Highlands right now is 14 degrees Celsius. 14 degrees. That is the difference between mild spring weather and harsh winter conditions in the same country, on the same day. And that's not all. Northern Ireland is also beginning to feel the impact. Belfast, Derry, Newry. Rain is moving in from the southwest. Not as heavy as Scotland, not yet, but it's gradually intensifying. The forecast for Belfast today, scattered showers this morning, more persistent rain this afternoon, temperatures 6 to 7 degrees Celsius, southeasterly winds 15 to 25 miles per hour, and Western Scotland, that's quite another story. Glasgow, Oban, Fort William. These places are in a drier zone, not because better weather is arriving, but because they sitting behind the southeasterly wind system. Temperature in Glasgow today, 5 to 6 degrees Celsius. Dry but cloudy. And that is temporary good news because everything is about to change. And this is where the story becomes interesting or concerning, depending on how you look at it. Tonight, Saturday into Sunday, the low pressure system in the southwest will shift, not far away. It's not going anywhere. It is simply rotating. And as it rotates, it will drag rain in a new direction. The Midlands will be affected, Birmingham, Coventry, Northampton. All will see increasing rain from midnight onwards, central England as well. Oxford, Reading, Milton Keynes. Rain will arrive around 2:30 in the morning and continue into Sunday morning. Southern England, brace yourselves. Southampton, Portsmouth, Brighton. Rain will sweep through from west to east throughout the night. Expected rainfall? 15 to 25 millimetres in 6 hours. Not enough to cause serious flooding, but enough to drench everything. Enough to create standing water on roads come Sunday morning. And temperatures? 4 to 5 degrees Celsius in the early hours. Cold enough to feel rather unpleasant if you need to venture out, but they're one to be widespread frost, because the wind will still be blowing, 15 to 20 miles per hour, enough to keep the air moving, enough to prevent temperatures from dropping below freezing in most areas. However, there will be fog, plenty of low cloud, especially in the east and northeast. If you're in Norwich, Ipswich, or Colchester, Sunday morning will be murky and damp. Now let me talk about Sunday, because this is when things become more complicated. We've reached the 3-minute mark. And as I promised, here's the most important information. Sunday, the 25th of January, will be a showery day. Not continuous rain like today, but scattered showers. Unexpected. Difficult to predict. The southwest will still bear the brunt. Cornwall, Devon, Somerset. Heavy downpours will continue to circulate around the low-pressure system. 50 to 60% chance of rain at any time during the day. Cardiff and Swansea, 80% chance of rain in the morning, dropping to 60% in the afternoon. But here's the important bit. The low-pressure system has weakened. It's filled in. Pressure has risen from 995 millibars to 1,000 millibars. This means the rain won't be as intense as today. The winds will also ease, but there's a new problem. The wind is changing direction, from southeast to east. And when the wind blows from the east, it brings colder air from the European continent. Temperatures will drop. Not significantly, just a degree or two, but you will notice the difference. Scotland will feel it most acutely. Aberdeen, Inverness, Dundee. Daytime temperatures only 4 to 6 degrees Celsius. With easterly winds 20 to 30 miles per hour, the wind chill will drop to below 2 degrees Celsius, and rain in Scotland will turn to showers instead of persistent rain. But in higher elevations, those showers will be snow, wet snow, heavy snow, accumulating on roads above 800 metres. Northeast England will also feel colder. Newcastle, Middlesbrough, Sunderland, 5 to 6 degrees Celsius. Occasional showers. Some showers may contain hail, but in the south, still relatively mild. London will be at 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. Manchester, 6 to 7 degrees Celsius. Birmingham, 7 degrees Celsius. This is the temperature gap widening. The distance between north and south is increasing. And that is a sign of something bigger approaching. Let me tell you why this matters and why you need to pay attention to Tuesday and Wednesday. There's another low-pressure system forming. Right now, it's west of Ireland. Small, weak, but developing. Over the next 24 to 48 hours, this system will move eastwards. And as it moves, it will encounter cold air pouring down from the north. This is what meteorologists call a battleground, a weather battleground. Warm air from the southwest meeting cold air from the northeast. And in between, chaotic weather. This is when we get the most unpredictable conditions. This is when a slight shift in wind direction can mean the difference between rain and snow, between mild weather and freezing conditions. And it's all going to happen Tuesday and Wednesday. We've now reached the 5-minute mark. And this is where things get truly interesting. Tuesday, the 27th of January. This is when the battleground begins. The low-pressure system will be centered somewhere over the Irish Sea or North Wales. Exact position still uncertain, and that uncertainty makes all the difference. If it tracks north, we'll see heavy rain across Wales and northwest England, Manchester, Liverpool, Sheffield, all facing persistent downpours, 20 to 30 millimetres in 12 hours. But if it tracks south, the story changes completely. Then it's the Midlands and East Anglia facing the rain. Birmingham, Leicester, Norwich, and for Scotland and North England. That's where the snow question becomes critical. When warm, moist air from the southwest rises over cold air sitting in the north, we get precipitation. But what type of precipitation depends on temperature. If temperatures at ground level are above 2 degrees Celsius, it's rain. If they between 0 and 2 degrees, it's sleet. Below zero, snow. Right now, models are suggesting temperatures in the Scottish Highlands on Tuesday will be around 1 to 3 degrees Celsius. On the edge, marginal. Could go either way. For areas above 300 metres, almost certainly snow. For towns and cities in the valleys, it's a coin toss. Edinburgh could see sleet. Glasgow might see rain. Inverness might see heavy snow. All within 50 kilometres of each other. This is the challenge of forecasting during a battleground. Small differences matter enormously. And Wednesday, that is when things could become even more dramatic. The low pressure system will have moved across England during Tuesday night. By Wednesday morning, it'll be over the North Sea. And that changes everything because now the wind swings round to the north. And northern winds in January mean one thing: Arctic air. Temperatures will plummet, not gradually, but sharply. Within 6 hours, temperatures across Scotland could drop from 5 degrees to 0, in England from 8 degrees to 3, and any precipitation still falling. In the north, it'll be snow. In central England, it could be sleet or wet snow. Only in the far south will it remain rain. This is where Wednesday becomes the day to watch, because if this scenario plays out, we could see snow settling in places that haven't seen snow all winter. But here's the crucial point. This is still 4 days away. Weather models are good, but they're not perfect. The exact track of that low pressure system could shift by 50 kilometres, and that 50 kilometres makes all the difference. So when I say there's a chance of snow on Wednesday, I mean there's also a chance of no snow at all. We're remonitoring, we're reassessing, but we're not certain, and that's why you need to watch this space. Check the forecast daily, because what I am telling you today might change by tomorrow. Now let me talk about Thursday and Friday, because after all this drama, you will want to know what comes next. Thursday the 29th looks like a recovery day. The low pressure system will have moved away to Scandinavia. Pressure will rise across Britain, and we'll see a brief window of calmer weather, not necessarily sunny, not necessarily warm, but calmer. Temperatures will still be low, 4 to 6 degrees in Scotland, 6 to 8 degrees in England, but winds will ease, rain will clear, and for many areas, Thursday will be the first dry day of the week. This is the day to catch up on outdoor tasks, clear gutters, check for damage, prepare for what might come next. Because Friday, there are hints that another system could be developing. I'm not going to speculate too much because it's 6 days away. Models are still diverging. Some show another low pressure system approaching from the Atlantic. Others show high pressure building and giving us a settled weekend. What I will say is this: keep flexible. Dundee make rigid plans for late next week. Be prepared to adjust, and if you are traveling, especially over long distances, monitor conditions closely. Now let me address something that several people have asked. Is this weather unusual for January? The short answer is no. January in Britain is typically unsettled. Low pressure systems are normal, rain is normal, wind is normal, even snow in Scotland is normal. What makes this week interesting is the intensity and the rapid changes, the battleground setup, the wide temperature contrasts, the uncertainty in exactly where and when things will happen. But it's not unprecedented. We've seen similar patterns many times before. January 2010 was far more dramatic. January 2013 brought heavier snow. January 2014 had worse flooding. The difference is we now have better forecasts, earlier warnings, better preparation capabilities. So don't panic. But do prepare. If you live in the southwest or South Wales, check your drainage systems. Make sure gutters aren't blocked. Prepare sandbags if you're in a flood risk area. If you're in Scotland, especially the northeast, stock up on food. Ensure you have adequate heating. Don drive unless absolutely necessary. If you are in northern England and planning for next week, monitor forecasts. Tuesday and Wednesday could bring snow. And if there's snow, your plans might be disrupted. But if you are in the Midlands or East Anglia, enjoy the rare dry weather today. Get outside, go for a walk, breathe the fresh air, because next week things will change. And here's my final piece of advice. Check the forecast daily. The weather is changing rapidly. What I tell you today might change tomorrow, especially forecasts for Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll be posting a new video on Sunday evening with the latest information about next week's weather battleground. And I'll give you more precise details on whether snow will materialize. But before I finish, let me recap the main points. Today, Saturday, is a day of contrasts. The southwest and Scotland are facing dreadful weather, heavy rain, strong winds, snow on high ground. But between them is a strip of dry, bright weather from the Midlands to the southeast. Tonight, rain will spread. The Midlands, Central England, Southern England will see rain from midnight. Sunday will be a showery day, uneven, unpredictable, but generally not as bad as today. Next week, things become more interesting. Tuesday and Wednesday, a new low-pressure system will bring heavy rain to the south and potentially snow to the north. This is a developing situation, and I'll be monitoring closely. Now, for the most important part, I want to hear from you. Where are you living? London, Manchester, Edinburgh, or somewhere I haven't mentioned in detail? Comment below and tell me your city, and I'll reply with a specific forecast for your area for the next 24 to 48 hours. This isn't just a way for you to get more accurate information. It helps me understand where my audience is located and tailor content to suit you better. If you are in a small town or village, that's fine. Comment the area name or nearest city. I'll provide the best forecast I can. And if you have specific questions, such as, I need to drive to Glasgow on Sunday, is it safe, or is my garden at risk of flooding? do ask. I'll try to answer as many as possible. This is our community, and weather affects all of us. So let us share information together, prepare together, get through these challenging weather days together. One more thing before I finish. There is a question many people are asking. Why do forecasts sometimes change? The answer is the atmosphere is complex. Our computer models are good, very good, but they're not perfect. A small change in sea surface temperature can make a low-pressure system move 50 kilometers north or south. A small change in wind speed can make rain arrive 2 hours early or late. That's why forecasts for the next 3 days are very accurate, but forecasts for 5 days ahead are less accurate. And forecasts for a week ahead, they re-guidance, not certainties. So when I say there is a 50% chance of snow on Wednesday, that means there is a 50% chance of no snow. We re-monitoring, we reassessing, but we re-not certain. And that is why following daily forecasts is so important, because the information improves each day. Models become more accurate as we approach the event. Today I tell you Wednesday might have snow. On Sunday, I'll tell you more confidently. On Monday, I'll tell you exactly where and how much. That's how weather forecasting works. And that's why I make videos every day. Now, let me give you some practical advice. If you are planning long-distance driving this weekend, check conditions before you go. Highways England has a website and app for real-time traffic information. If you are in a flood risk area, register for flood warnings. The Environment Agency sends free text messages when there is flooding risk in your area. If you have a garden or outdoor property, secure it. Garden furniture can blow away. Plant pots can topple. Pergolas can be damaged. If you have pets, ensure they have dry, warm shelter, especially if they outdoors. And if you are elderly or have health issues, stock up on medications. Ensure you have adequate heating and keep in contact with family or neighbors. Severe weather affects everyone, but some people are more vulnerable. So let's look after each other, check on your elderly neighbors, offer help if they need it. A small gesture can make a big difference. And one final piece of advice. Dundee believes sensationalist headlines on social media. Massive snowstorm approaching. Worst weather in 100 years. Most of that is exaggeration, written to attract clicks, not based on actual science. Rely on trustworthy sources, the Met Office, BBC Weather, channels like this one that provide information based on actual data, not sensationalist headlines. Weather is challenging enough without adding unnecessary panic. Now, it's time for the teaser I promised. My next video will be out on Sunday at 8 o'clock in the evening, and it will focus on one thing, next week's weather battleground. I'll analyze the computer models in detail. I'll show you exactly where cold and warm air will collide. I'll give you specific forecasts for each region regarding the possibility of snow, and I'll explain why this week could be a turning point in this year's winter weather. Some models are suggesting that after Wednesday we might see a major shift. Wind direction might change, temperatures might rise, or they might drop further. It is too early to say for certain, but what is clear is next week, one to be boring. It'll be a week worth watching, a week worth checking forecasts daily, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, turn on notifications, and I'll see you on Sunday at 8 o'clock in the evening with a full update. And don't forget, comment your city below. I am waiting. I want to know where you are and how the weather is affecting you. Together, we'll get through this interesting weather week. Together, we'll be ready for whatever comes. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay dry, and I'll see you in the next video. Remember, weather is always changing, but with the right information, we can always prepare. And with a community like this, we never face it alone. Until Sunday, 8 o'clock in the evening.